Hello and welcome to the series where I take ruined model trains. Now it's very laboured, it's emitting a deathly screech, and try to put them back on track. If I succeed, they'll work again. Oh yes, yes, great. But if I fail, they will be left to the mercy of the evil Scrapman. The Time-O-Matic machine will give me a limited time to repair each engine, but if the engine still doesn't work when the time runs out, the Scrapman will come knocking. Welcome to Salvage or Scrap. Without any further ado, it's time to introduce the remaining long-suffering locos who sadly have run out of steam. And there are only two left. We're down to the final two locomotives. One of them is a modern steam loco and the other one is an aging diesel loco. Today's patient is the Mehano Canadian National Coco diesel, which dates back at least 30 years. Wow, let's find out what I'm dealing with this time. This loco is absolutely filthy. It's easily the foulest I've seen so far in the series. There are actually huge pieces of dirt all over it, and I do know that like that Lima loco from earlier in the series, this has been left abandoned in a damp loft for over 30 years. Behind all of that dirt though, there does seem to be a decent loco there. There are just a few breaks in the handrails and such, but besides that it seems cosmetically fine. Now I don't hold very much hope of this being a working locomotive, but let's find out for sure. Initiate that power test. Okay, so this is trying to work. I'm sure I've seen the lights flickering a little bit. I've heard the wheels turn a little, but it certainly doesn't get far. It sounds pretty bad and there's definitely some work to be done on this one. Let's find out how long I've got for this project. Time-O-Matic, if you will. 36 minutes. So I am a little bit concerned about the time on this one because 36 minutes is not very long to get this loco cleaned up and working properly. However, I do have a slight time-saving trick up my sleeve because I think there's a good chance I will be able to find a replacement motor for this, which means I might not have to service the motor that's currently inside this loco. I might be able to just rip it out and put a new one in, which clearly will save a lot of time. So that's my aim. Fingers crossed I'll be able to do something with this one. Let me go and prepare and I'll give it a try. Remember, my rule says that I'm not allowed to shop online for any replacement parts. I can use what I've already got in my stores and I can 3D print brand new parts, but if I do, they must be printed within the time limit. Slight problem straight away, I don't have any of the dual shafted 5-pole motors that I thought I had. All I do have is this. It does have dual shafts, but one of them is pretty short, so I need to find out early on whether or not this is going to be suitable. If it's not, we're going to have to salvage the loco's original motor, which is going to be a problem. We have 36 minutes. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, start. Let's get this train back on track. Let's do it then. Here we go. Let me try and get this body off. That's the first major thing. Pretty sure this is how it comes off. I've done these before, I'm not being too careful with it. All right, there it is. Okay. If I pull the shafts off this motor, this should help me figure out whether or not my replacement is going to be suitable. And I think it will be. So I can go ahead and take the old motor out of there, which is great. In order to strip everything off the chassis that can't get wet, I've had to remove the lighting and the wires too. But as I plan to replace the motor, these would have to be removed at some stage anyway. Look at this old-fashioned bulb. Take that out. Hopefully now that will fit through there. Okay, nice. I've also decided to remove the large weight assembly from the bottom of the chassis, as that's a cavity that could trap water and cause corrosion further down the line. Okay, chassis, body, let's take these and give them a clean. I really don't have time to be doing this at all, so this is really gonna have to be done quickly. I've used way too much soap, but it's gonna have to be a fast one. 30 years of filth right here, being removed in hopefully 30 seconds. Here I go, I've got to try and do this bit without destroying the handrails. Look at the mess it's making in the sink. Oh, this is gross. Well, it can't look any worse, can it? It can only look better having been cleaned like this, surely. Please, Mr. Heater, in the 30 minutes you've got, do your absolute best drying job on this body. Switch it on.
While those pieces cook, it's time to measure up for a new motor.
I'm going to be pulling off the shafts. I have 29 minutes remaining. That's not a lot. So don't forget, this motor may still work for all I know, but I don't have time to fix it up. That though looks perfect. And that goes on there. I hope that will be adequate. Give it a little push. Squeeze. Okay, I think that should be fine. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, great.
Now, the bogies need a full overhaul, and in order to do that, I need to remove the base.
Ooh, that's not good. That broke. It already had a break in it, but I finished it off. Okay, let's take a look here then. And look at all that dirt on that pickup. That is awful. 27 minutes does not seem long to fix this thing up. Right, let me clean this. Just clean the rest of the bogie. Got to get all of the dirt out of the various orifices in the bogie, otherwise the wheels won't turn properly. So the gears seem to be turning really nice and freely, which is great. So let's clean up the axles and let's get this bogie back together.
Now, there hasn't been enough time for me to be as thorough as I would have liked to have been, but everything seems fine, so I'm reassembling the bogie.
Okay, so that should be plenty of oil on there. Don't worry about the wheels, I'll clean those up later on. And I can always replace the coupling without too much trouble. So that is a fairly free moving bogie now, which is good. Right, bogie the second. Let's do this one. Here we are, and they've flown off just like on the other one. Oh dear. Never mind. My hands are covered in little bits of dirt and rubbish that's just come off this. Oh man, I don't know where it was kept. It looks like it's been kept outside in a forest or something, because there's like little organic bits on it. It looks like little bits of bark or something. I don't know what it is. Okay, that's all good and clean. Okay, all right. And the base goes back on, and this time I do need the coupling. Okay, I think that will do. Just oil the actual shaft. Is that turning nicely? Yes, it is. Great.
With that, time's up for the chassis. I can't do any more until I get it back again, so I've got to finish off the drying by hand.
There is just a bit over this end that's still noticeably damp, but that's not too bad because that's outside the body anyway, so I'll just dry it with a cotton bud. Yeah, look, it's dry. And it's more or less clean. There are still one or two areas of dirt, but it's much better than it was. Right, so now I need to start reassembling this thing. I need to do away with the old motor mounts, like so.
Now I can truly measure the motor up for fit, and it looks like there's just enough width for it to fit, and the length of the shafts actually look perfect, but I do need to be careful about where exactly I mount the motor, so I've decided to fit the bogies before committing to fixing the motor in place.
Oh, why is this piece broken?
This is a crucial piece. It's responsible for holding the bogie onto the chassis, and so it's got to be fixed. I can't just throw this piece away, and there are only 20 minutes left to go.
So loads of glue on there, plenty of glue, way too much glue that I would normally want to use. Let's waggle that. Let's put that over there, make sure the wire's not in the way. All right, there we go. I'm probably not going to bother with the light on this one. I'm probably just going to literally hook this up so that it runs, and that will be that. So these shafts, and there is some play on these shafts. There's a huge tolerance for where you mount the motor, I've found. It can be as short as that or as long as that. So as long as the motor is in roughly the right spot, this really shouldn't be a problem at all.
So now that I'm happy with the position of the motor, I can hot glue it in place.
Hot glue is not ideal for securing motors, but it's my only option in this case. Timer-matic, while I peel the hot glue that's blistering my fingers off, how long have I got left? So that's 16.5 minutes, wow. So let's work on wiring this up then, while that hot glue goes off. It shouldn't take very long. This is going to have to be done very quickly. Stripping back the insulation so that I can solder the wires. There's one, there's two. Solder them directly to the motor. I don't think I have time for a capacitor. That isn't necessary for this thing to run, so I'm happy to miss that one out. And through the railings to solder point number 2.
With the motor all wired up, it's time for a quick test.
I didn't even test the motor, darn. I have been shoddy this time. Yeah, this is an untested motor. If it doesn't work, I've got to pull it out. Of course it's going to work. Oh, that's purring beautifully like a little cat. Right. Wheel cleaning then. Oh, it's fast. My God. How am I doing, Timer-matic? 12 minutes something. All right, that's not so bad. Wheel clean with the power tool. Oh, that's not the right attachment. Yeah, if I try to clean the wheels with this thing, it ain't gonna end so well. Let's swap it for the cleaning attachment. Let's do it. Okay, power cleaning done. Now let's do regular non-power cleaning. Ah, this is such a much better mechanism. I think this is going to crawl better than it would have done when it was new. That's saying something. Could be wrong, but we'll see. According to the Timer-matic, I am heading now into the final 10 minutes for this. So I really have to hope everything fits back together properly and that the thing actually works using track power, because that's not something I've tested yet. I've got to get this clamp off at some point, which I'm not looking forward to because there's glue on it. And I don't know if the glue job I've done is going to fail as soon as I take that off. I just hope not. So these screws go through the weights and hold this chassis on. Thank you, heater. I will take the body back now. Can you believe the difference? I was so rushing this cleaning job, and yet it looks amazing, except for just there. Okay, let's take this clamp off then. Is that stuck? Yes, I believe it is.
I'm into the last few minutes now, but there's a problem. One of the wires isn't long enough to reach the motor without obstructing the movement of one of the bogies. So I've got to lengthen it, and fast.
Have I got time? I've got 6 minutes. Oh, man. Any wire, any wire, any wire. Let's just snip a small section of green wire. Go, let's trim it back. I definitely don't need this much. Okay, solder that and connect these pieces of wire together. Usually I'd want to put some heat shrink on that, but there just isn't time. And the bogie should be freer. Yeah, it is. Okay, great.
So it turns out after all that the motor is a touch too wide for the body. The motor itself is actually quite a good fit, but my bulky soldering contacts and those hot glue beads that I wasn't too careful about are stopping the body from fitting properly.
Come on, body, come on. Right, there's just a bead of hot glue preventing the body from sitting properly. So if I get my heat gun and just fire it at the piece of glue while squeezing the body, I'm hoping in the next 4 minutes I'll be able to get the body to seat correctly. Seem to be melting one of the handrails as well, but I think that's more or less job done. So that means I have got time to try and power this using the wheels, just so that I have some peace of mind that this is actually going to work. But I really don't know what I will do if it doesn't. It does. Ah, thank goodness. Right, Timer-matic, you can stop there. I have 3 minutes and 3 seconds left, and this Loco is back in business. Wow, look at that. That looks so much better and in such a short amount of time as well. I have impressed myself with that one. So let's take it back to the workshop. We'll do some before and afters, and of course we will find out whether or not this works now, although I think it will. Today's patient is back in the workshop, ready for that all-important final inspection. Remember, here is what the Loco looked like originally. It was one of the dirtiest Locos I had ever seen in my life. It was actually disgusting to handle this one just because your hands would get so mucky just from touching it. And it didn't really work either. The wheels were twitching very, very slightly, but it certainly wasn't what I would call a runner. And here it is now, and it looks like a different Loco entirely. All of that muck is gone so that you can actually see the Loco that's there underneath, and it's actually not a bad looking Loco. Up until I cleaned this, I did not like this locomotive, but now I must say I'm quite fond of it. So that's all well and good, but does it work now? Initiate that power test. There we go, and that is a brand new 5-pole motor inside there. So of course it's running at a great speed, it's got its growl back, it's got its power back. It's now a fully functioning locomotive that looks good and actually goes somewhere too. I really did not have very much time for this one. However, the final result is absolutely fine. I am more than happy with that. So I'm happy to say that this Loco has been successfully salvaged and it is officially safe from the evil Scrapman. So let's take a look at the leaderboard of current repair times. This salvage came in at 3rd place. That's not too bad. I was quite quick with that one, and that's a good job, well done. So the only thing left to do now is to send the Loco back out into the world and back onto the railway. And if you are interested in owning this engine, bids are now open for it on eBay. So if you're interested, I will include a link down in the description. For now though, job done. I'll see you next time on Salvage or Scrap.